Hello and welcome, I'm Ellie Richardson and you're watching the World Report on NewsX World. Let's take a look at some of the top headlines of this hour. Iran has not agreed to all the red lines set out by US President Donald Trump for a diplomatic solution, Vice President J.D. Vance said after talks in Geneva. Vance appeared to indicate that the United States was still interested in diplomacy after Trump threatened force if Iran's clerical state does not agree on key concerns, starting with its nuclear program. Ukrainian and Russian negotiators are resuming a second round of peace talks in Geneva today, as US envoy Steve Witkoff said that talks had brought about meaningful progress in the Washington-led drive to end Europe's biggest war since World War II. A frantic search is underway for 10 backcountry skiers missing in an avalanche in the mountains of California, where a huge storm dumped heavy snow. Officials say a group of 16 people, 4 guides and 12 clients were caught up in the avalanche. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi said ties between India and France are very special after talks with President Emmanuel Macron during his 3-day visit for the AI summit. Armed group Hezbollah rejected the Lebanese government's decision to grant the army at least 4 months to advance the second phase of a nationwide disarmament plan, saying it would not accept what it sees as a move serving Israel. Millions of files related to the late sex offender Jeffrey Epstein suggest the existence of a global criminal enterprise that carried out acts meeting the legal threshold of crimes against humanity, according to a panel of independent expertise appointed by the United Nations Human Rights Council. The Vatican will not participate in US President Donald Trump's Board of Peace initiative. Cardinal Pietro Parolin, the Vatican's top diplomatic official, said, while adding that efforts to handle crisis situations should be managed by the United Nations. Pope Leo, the first US pope and critic of some of Trump's policies, was invited to join the board in January. California Attorney General Rob Bonta is building an artificial intelligence accountability program as his office probes Elon Musk's XAI over the generation of non-consensual explicit images. Bonta moved quickly last month to send a cease and desist letter to XAI as regulators globally investigated the company. Tensions are rising in Lebanon after Hezbollah rejected the government's latest move to advance a nationwide disarmament plan. The Lebanese cabinet has given the army 4 months to push forward with a strategy aimed at bringing all weapons under state control, a plan that largely targets Hezbollah following its 2023-24 war with Israel. Hezbollah chief Shaki Naim Qassem called the focus on disarmament a major mistake, saying it serves Israeli aggression. Information Minister Paul McCoy has said that the 4-month deadline could be extended depending on military capabilities, Israeli strikes and conditions on the ground. Hezbollah lawmakers Hassan Fadala warned that the group cannot be lenient as ministers walked out of the cabinet session in protest. Israel, meanwhile, says disarming Hezbollah is a security priority and has vowed to continue strikes to prevent the group from rearming. We are now being joined by Professor Rohan Gunatunan, who is an international affairs expert, joining us from Singapore. Thank you for joining us here today on NewsX World. How feasible is the Lebanese government's plan to disarm Hezbollah within the next 4 months? And what operational and political challenges, such as military capabilities, internal divisions, and regional pressures, stand in the way?
Ellie, what we have seen most recently is that the Lebanese Hezbollah is working very closely with Iran, and they do not wish to disarm. So Israel will mount attacks persistently against Hezbollah to dismantle its infrastructure as it did in 2023 after the October 7th attack, and also in 2024. So Israel has conducted intermittent attacks against Hezbollah, decimating its rank and file, decapitating its leaders, but still there are remnants and there are successors to Hassan Nasrallah. So we can expect in the coming days, the coming weeks and coming months for the Israelis to respond with military force in Lebanon to ensure that Hezbollah does not rearm and restore its capabilities to the same level as October 7th. Because when Hamas attacked on October 7th, October 8th, Hezbollah started to fire rockets into Israel. And Israel is now determined to ensure that there's no buildup of any capability by a terrorist entity in its neighborhood. And of course, the Lebanese Hezbollah is among the target bank of Israel. So we will see intense strikes in the next days and next few weeks.
Mm. And how might what role do external actors, particularly Israel, the United States, and Iran, play in the debate over disarming Hezbollah, and these foreign influences strengthening or weakening Lebanon's security and sovereignty and security calculus?
Lebanon army has been extensively supported by the US military, and the United States is continuing to build the capacity of the Lebanese military so that they can take over all security functions and also disarm Hezbollah. But they have been very reluctant to do that because Hezbollah is still a very powerful organization backed by Iran. Iran is the patron of Lebanese Hezbollah, and both Iran and the Lebanese Hezbollah work very closely with each other. So Iran will continue to support the Lebanese Hezbollah and will say no to disarmament. Of course, the Lebanese government will want to disarm the Lebanese Hezbollah, but they don't have the military capabilities as yet. Israel has the capabilities, and they will fight Lebanese Hezbollah until such time the Lebanese army is capable enough to take on the Lebanese Hezbollah.
Mm. And if Hezbollah refuses to disarm, which it's looking like right now, what are the possible implications for future Israeli-Lebanese relations and broader security and border security? Could this continued militarization lead to renewed conflict or a shift in regional alliances?
Lebanese Hezbollah is a global terrorist movement. It has operations in Latin America, in North America, in Africa, in Asia, everywhere. And certainly it's a very powerful group. So although it has been severely weakened, it will continue to fight back. But Israel is basically a superpower in the Middle East, and Israel will strike Lebanese Hezbollah. And of course, the United States, after Ramadan, will attack Iran. It is inevitable now. And what we are witnessing is that both the Lebanese Hezbollah and Iran, the Iranian regime, will be severely weakened. So Lebanese Hezbollah will lose its patron the regime in Tehran in the coming months. And then Lebanese Hezbollah will be even more vulnerable to further decapitation and decimation of its rank and file. So the group will be dismantled in the next few years because the Lebanese army also wants to get rid of this group because it conducted so many attacks in Lebanon, overseas, and has destabilized Lebanon in a very big way.
Yeah. Thank you. Don't go too far as I will be coming back to you very shortly. We have some breaking news for you now. Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum says her government has declined an invitation from US President Donald Trump to join his newly created Board of Peace. Speaking at her morning press conference, Sheinbaum said Mexico could not participate because Palestine, which Mexico recognizes as a state, will not be represented at the board's inaugural meeting in Washington, while Israel will attend. She said Mexico may only send an observer. Sheinbaum also addressed relations with Canada, saying Mexico is strengthening economic and investment ties with Ottawa, not as a backup plan, but as a strategic priority. She stressed that the USMCA will remain in place despite possible modifications, calling it beneficial for all three countries. On investment, Sheinbaum said that there is a strong global interest in Mexico, adding that her government is working to cut bureaucratic delays and speed up project approvals. We are now being joined again by Professor Rowan, who is just joining us back now. Thank you for joining us back here for our breaking news. What does Mexican's president's comments on the Board of Peace tell us about the situation?
Mexican president sooner or later will face the wrath of President Trump because President Trump is mercurial and overwhelming. So he has threatened and challenged everyone who is not falling in line. So Mexico itself may change their position in the coming days and coming weeks because President Trump will be very unhappy of Mexico not participating as a full member, but only as an observer.
Thank you, Professor Rowan. Don't go anywhere as I will be coming back to you very shortly. A senior US official has alleged that China carried out a secret underground nuclear test in June 2020, a claim strongly denied by Beijing. Speaking at an event in Washington, Assistant Secretary of State Christopher Yu said seismic data from monitoring station in Kazakhstan detected that he described as a singular explosion near China's Lopnor test site. He said the signal was consistent with a nuclear test and not with mining activity or an earthquake. However, the Comprehensive Test Ban Treaty Organization said there was insufficient data to confirm the allegation with confidence, noting that the events recorded were very small. China's embassy in Washington called the claim unfounded and accused the United States of political manipulation. The dispute comes as nuclear arms control faces uncertainty following the expiration of New START, fueling global concerns of a renewed nuclear arms race. We are now being rejoined by Professor Rowan. Thank you for rejoining us here today on NewsX World. The US says about this new evidence that possible Chinese nuclear testing has been going on. How strong and convincing is this evidence? And China is obviously denying the allegations. How does this also dispute any relationship between the US and China?
Firstly, the test that the United States now allege was conducted by the Chinese is under investigation. There will be many authorities and agencies that will investigate it. But what I would like to share with you, Ellie, is that under the Comprehensive Nuclear Test Ban Treaty of 1996, if China did test a nuclear device, certainly it's a violation of that treaty. The last testing was conducted in 1992 by the United States and 1996 by China, the last official test. So if the US allegation is proved correct, certainly China did violate international treaty, and of course that the Americans will use that to lobby for sanctions against China. But what is so important today is for independent organizations, independent agencies, and other countries to investigate whether China did test a nuclear device. Of course, we all know that China is expanding its nuclear capabilities, and we also know that the US China is competing at a very high and at a very strategic level. So I believe that in the coming days and coming weeks, we will know exactly what happened in that nuclear facility in China, because now many governments and many international agencies are trying to verify and validate the American allegation that China did test a nuclear device.
And what does this situation say about the current state of global arms control treaties? Now, we know the US won't re-sign the New START treaty deal with Russia because they want China also involved with it, and China is saying no. What does this situation say about the state of that?
Arms control, disarmament, and international security is paramount for the greater stability and security of this world. And at this point, because we are entering a multipolar world, and because there's so much of strategic competition between the three superpowers, that is the US, Russia, and China, we will see significant developments. And if in the event the Chinese did test this device, certainly it is a mark of what is happening right now between these three superpowers. US will still dominate the international order, but at the same time, it is very clear that the Chinese and the Russians are very strong competitors when it comes to nuclear weapons, and other countries. For instance, Iran is trying to build those capabilities.
Yeah. I'm
So
really sorry, Professor Rowan. We have to just quickly interrupt you there as we are running out of time, but it was a pleasure speaking with you. Today is day 3 of the AI Impact Summit 2026 in the national capital of India. Kicking off with a research symposium, the summit will bring together leading academics, researchers, and think tanks to present cutting-edge AI research, new methodologies, and evidence-based policy insights. On February the 19th, the official summit opens with an invite-only inaugural ceremony at the Bharat Mandapam Convention Centre, inaugurated by Prime Minister Narendra Modi. The summit will feature various sessions, including a leaders' plenary and CEOs' roundtable, both of which will be addressed by PM Modi. In attendance are prominent tech leaders like Sundar Pichai, CEO of Google and Alphabet, who is in Delhi for the summit. Pichai tweeted sharing his enthusiasm for the event. According to Union Minister Ashwani Vishnan, around 250,000 people attended the event on February the 17th, highlighting the event's scale and significance. Among the major figures making headlines is Bill Gates, the co-founder of Microsoft. Gates is confirmed to deliver his keynote address on February the 19th. His participation had sparked speculation after his name briefly disappeared from the list of speakers. But a spokesperson from the Gates Foundation confirmed his attendance. His keynote will likely focus on the intersection of AI, global development and sustainability. The summit promises to be a vital gathering for shaping the future of AI, with discussions ranging from AI ethics and sustainability to the impact of AI in emerging economies and policy frameworks. These sessions aim to foster dialogue between world leaders and industry executives, tackling key challenges in AI development and deployment. Keynotes and panel discussions are also scheduled throughout the day, with leading figures from the tech and research world. This session will focus on key challenges and opportunities presented by AI, while an industry session will take place at Bharat Mandapam, featuring the AI by Her, Global Impact Challenge finalists showcasing innovative AI solutions to tackle real-world public challenges. We are now being joined by our correspondent, Thomas Porteous, who is currently at the AI Summit. Thank you for joining us here. Thomas, what is it like today? What is the atmosphere like on ground? And what key events are scheduled for day 3 of the AI Impact Summit? And which leaders have arrived in Delhi to attend it?
Of course, there aren't a huge amount of foreign delegations here yet. The main foreign event kicks off tomorrow. However, what will be happening is this summit will continue with those sessions that are going on every single day, building towards India's strategic position here in the AI sector. When it comes to those developments, it will be a day chock-a-block with these sessions, and we are expecting the likes of Macron. He's expected to attend tomorrow. He arrives in New Delhi tonight, along with President Luis Inacio da Silva. He's coming within the next 48 hours. But of course, we'll continue bringing you all the live feed coming out of New Delhi at the Bharat Mandapam as soon as we get it here from the AI Summit.
Thank you so much to Thomas Porteous for joining us here today on News X World. We are now being joined by Ambassador Suresh Goel, who's a former Indian diplomat, joining us from New Delhi. Thank you for joining us here today and speaking to us on our coverage of the AI Summit. What does the presence of global leaders like the Prime Minister of Finland at the summit signal about international cooperation on AI policy, especially between Europe and India?
Well, a good question, really. The thing is that we have seen rapid changes in the global thinking on what AI can do and how AI must be used for the humanity. And keeping that in mind, the theme for this year's AI Impact Summit has been given to be Bahujan Hitaya, Bahujan Sukhaya. That's a Sanskrit word for meaning for the benefit of everyone and for the happiness of everyone. So that's what the vision is for the use of AI. Now, coming to really the present summit, there has been so much of change in the thinking on the AI I think it has now gone beyond just being a technology. It has become a platform to determine the whole course of planning, economy, sociology of the world in the later years. I think it will be useful at this stage to really see how the countries advanced in the use and application of AI, such as Europe, USA, they take, they deal with the future of AI, including on the geopolitics of AI, military application of AI, and the ethics of AI, which is very, very important, and what the future interface is going to be between AI and the humanity as a whole. These are very difficult issues to be dealt with, and I think the present summit should be the right forum to at least start the thinking.
Thank
Yes.
you so much, Ambassador, for joining us here today and speaking to us on NewsX World. Philippine Vice President Sara Duterte has said that she will run for president in the 2028 election. Duterte has added that she was offering her life, strength and future in the service of the nation. According to reports, independent opinion surveys rank her as a strong contender in the 2028 race. However, Duterte is the daughter of former President Rodrigo Duterte, who is currently detained in The Hague of murder charges linked to his bloody war in drugs during his presidency. Let's listen in to what Sarah had to say.
It took me 47 years to understand that my life was never meant to be only mine. Unlike others, I may not have been born just to chase happiness. For a long time, I questioned the weight of responsibility to my family, to my country, to everyone who called on me. Sa unang mga buwan ng aming mga termino, nakita ko na ang kawalan ng katapatan ni Bongbong Marcos Jr. sa mga pangakong binitawan noong kampanya. Pati na sa kanyang sinumpaang tungkulin para sa bayan.
In California, rescue operations are ongoing in Lake Tahoe region after a devastating avalanche left 10 backcountry skiers missing and 6 others stranded. The avalanche, which occurred around the Castle Peak area near Truckee, involved a group of 16, including 4 guides and 12 clients. While 6 skiers have been confirmed alive and are sheltering in place, authorities are still searching for the 10 unaccounted for skiers. Highly skilled rescue teams from nearby ski resorts have been dispatched, along with snowcat vehicles, to assess the avalanche site. Weather conditions remain treacherous, with a high chance of further avalanches in the coming hours. The Sierra Avalanche Center has issued a high danger rating, warning of large avalanches expected. Several highways in the region, including I-80 and Highway 50, have also been closed due to the storm. South Korea's Unification Minister Chung Dong-young has revealed that 3 civilians sent drones into North Korea 4 times since President Lee Jae-myung took office. And according to him, the move has significantly strained inter-Korean relations. The drones' activities were reported as part of ongoing tensions and have worsened diplomatic ties. South Korea's government now faces questions over controlling these private initiatives that could further escalate military tension with North Korea. That's all we have time for. Keep watching NewsX World for more news updates from around the world.